What will give you a massive return on investment, ROI, if you're thinking about selling your home? And then what will give you absolutely no return on your investment? It's just a total waste of money and things you should not do to improve your home before you sell it. Today, on this video, I'm going to break down my top 3 worst improvements you can do to your home before you list it, and the 3 best improvements you can do before you list it. But before we get started, I just want to share with you a little bit about us. My name is Mike Novak from the Novak Real Estate Team right here in Snohomish County. Our team is one of the top producing teams in this entire area. We help about 250 families each and every year make a move. We'd be honored to help you as well. If you're thinking about buying or selling, reach out to us. All our contact information is down below, okay? But let's jump right into the worst improvements you could do, and then we'll get to the best right after that. Okay, so the worst improvement you can do, and I see this done all the time by some of my clients and by just different people when they put their home on the market, it's converting a garage into a bedroom. Do not do this. This will not add value to your home. And in fact, what it will do is it will diminish the amount of buyers that would even consider buying your property. Having a garage is a very, very important feature for most buyers, especially if they're gonna spend $600,000, $700,000. They do not want to have their cars parked outside, have nowhere to store their things, all of that. And it's just not going to add value to your home the way that you think it's going to. But I get the thinking. People are like, hey, you know what, Mike? Gosh, if I add 400 living square feet to my house, then my price per foot, do the math, all of a sudden my home's worth a whole bunch more money. It's just not that simple though when you're looking at a garage to bedroom living space conversion, okay? Because what you're giving up is costing you big time. Yes, it's good to have more square footage, but not at the expense of having no garage where people can park their cars, where they can store their stuff. I've just been doing this long enough to know that buyers want a garage. It's super, super important to like 90% of buyers at least, okay? When you take that component away, you really limit who could possibly want to buy your home, okay? So don't do that. That brings me to number 2, updating your HVAC, electrical, or plumbing systems. This is not really going to enhance the value of your home. Like, no one really cares if you modernize these things. It's nice, it's cool, it's helpful, it's going to reduce the amount of maintenance in the future, but it's not really gonna net you that much more money, with a couple of exceptions. If you've got knob and tube wiring in your house, that's a huge issue. You gotta deal with that before you list your house. Definitely recommend taking care of that, of course. If you've got a furnace that's dead, it's not working, of course, get that taken care of. But hey, if the furnace is 10 years old, don't just go replace that thing just because you want it to be brand new for a buyer. You're not gonna get that money back. And I see people make that mistake all the time, okay? So if the things work, if they're in decent condition, but they're not new, that's totally fine. People can always go get a home warranty that will give them, some assurances that system is going to work for at least a year or 2 after they buy the home. They're not buying a brand new home, so there's no expectation that all the components of that home are going to be brand new. Makes sense when you think about it, right? Okay, that brings me to number 3 on the worst improvements. We'll get to the best. Appliances. Appliances are something that can definitely make a kitchen look refreshed, and in some instances makes a lot of sense. Like if you just completely redone your whole kitchen, but then you leave these white, just 90s appliances in there, that's a bad idea, okay? But most buyers look at appliances and they just say, okay, this is an easy upgrade for me. So they're happy to update it themselves once they buy the home. It's just something that's not gonna net you that much more money. There's a reason, guys, why builders do not typically include refrigerators, washers, and dryers, because it doesn't improve the value of the actual property, okay? So just consider that. Don't go spend a whole bunch of money on appliances unless you've updated the whole kitchen and you need to update the appliances to make them match everything else you've done. If the appliances work, if they're functional, if they're okay, just leave them as is. This is much like the electrical and HVAC system comment that I just shared with you about not updating those if they work, okay? So those 2 things are very similar to one another. That brings me to my 3 best improvements. This is the things you want to do to your home before you want to list it. These are the things that if you do them, not only will you get each dollar back that you invested, but you're probably gonna get $2 or $3 back for every dollar you invested. That's where the return on investment really starts to come in, okay? First of all is paint. You want to do some fresh paint on the inside and out if your painting looks old or if it is very personalized. I've seen so many of these like bright red walls. You do not want to list your house with a wall that looks like that, okay? You need to neutralize your house, make sure the paint is neutralized, make sure the exterior looks good. You don't need to repaint the exterior if it's just kind of like, not perfect. Like if it's just maybe say 5 to 7 years since you've painted, probably don't need to paint it. But if it's really old, if it's kind of cracking, if it's chipped, if it's weathered looking, definitely want to take a look at that and at least consider possibly redoing it so it looks very crisp and fresh when people come look at the house. On the inside, it's just all about removing those really personal accent walls and making it look very clean, okay? When you paint a house, it feels very up to date to people. Like all of a sudden people feel like, hey, this home is modernized, it's clean, this feels good, right? It's all about making people feel good when they come to tour the home, okay? So that's the first one, is paint. The second one, floor coverings, okay? This is something that gives you a massive return on your investment. I like LVP, laminated vinyl plank, in your kitchen, in your dining room, in your entry, possibly even your living room. Look at vinyl plank. It's cheap to buy. It's like $3-4 a foot. And it's a couple bucks a foot to have it installed, but it looks great. Like it's really tough, hardcore floor. It's going to hold up to pets, but more importantly, it's going to look amazing when the home is being shown, okay? So if the floor coverings look old at all, I want you to consider and get some quotes to possibly update those areas. Worn carpet would be another area to look at for floor coverings. If the carpet looks old, if it's tired, if it's really stretched and it can't come back together, right? Like it's got like those like waves to it. You don't want to have that, okay? People are going to discount in their mind the value of their home when they come through it if it's got those kind of issues, okay? So definitely look at floor coverings, strongly consider LVP, make sure your carpet looks really, really good. If you've got one of those 90s houses that had carpet in the bathrooms, replace it with tile or laminate or something like that, okay? People don't want carpet in the bathrooms. I don't know what builders were thinking in the 90s. Here's the most important thing though. Before you spend even $1 on your house, you need to meet with an agent, okay? So shameless plug, call us, reach out to us. We will come out to you. We won't charge you anything to do it, but we will tell you what to do to your home to get the most money out of it when you sell. And we'll also tell you what not to do, totally customized and personalized to you, okay? Oftentimes people do things to their home they think are gonna massively improve the value, and they just simply don't. So I don't want that to happen to you. If you're thinking about selling even 6-9 months from now, give us a call, reach out. We will guide you through the updates you should do and that you should not do to your property.